Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything, and I'm coming back at you with another Wargaming and Miniature channel update. Okay, this channel is dedicated to my Wargaming and Miniatures activities, my projects, and also my computer gaming and things like that. And every month I'd like to do a update to get you filled in on what changes are going on, what's happening with any of my projects or updates with my miniatures or video games or anything at all. And so just to stay apprised of what we're doing here, come to these monthly, they're channel updates. All right. Now, first thing you want to know is the channel name has changed. It was Mr. Everything Derek being my name, and I changed it to Wargaming and Miniature. Why not, right? So the name of the YouTube channel is Wargaming and Miniature. All right, now we've got some major changes that took place in July, and they're really super exciting. These change the way I conduct business. It is diametrically different than everything I've done in the past. So I want you to know what they're all about. So I've done it all through the month of July, and now we're going into August. And first of all, I have opened a page on eBay called, guess what? Wargaming in Miniature. So you can browse the miniatures that I have for sale on eBay at my eBay store, Wargaming in Miniature. Okay, I am doing well at eBay. I am able to paint miniatures and, let me back up. I have purchased miniatures that I don't plan to put into my personal collection, but I plan to paint and put them on eBay. So I have done this all through the month of July, and it's fairly successful. And so I'm going to continue it on. I'm going to continue doing it. Now, in between, like periodically, maybe once a week or something like that, I'll paint some unit or some figures from my own personal collection, and then others I will paint for the store. I have mostly Victrix, Warlord, and Perry on. The ones that I'm focusing on are Napoleonics, Ancients, and World War II. I have some fantasy on there too. Let me back up. I've got some fantasy. And I'm going to start putting some sci-fi on there. Maybe Gates of Antares from Warlord. I've decided not to do any Warhammer or Warhammer 40K, I should say. I'm not going to do any Warhammer 40K. I've taken a lot of my old Warhammer fantasy models that I used to own, that I still own, and I've sold a lot of those. Okay, I've taken some of the board games, some computer parts and stuff like that I'm not going to do anything with, and I've listed them on there as well. But the main focus is putting together and painting miniatures for sale. I have done a number of Napoleonic units. Almost everything is in 28 millimeter. I have some micro armor I'm going to put up there. I've already gotten rid of some of my 15 millimeters. I think I've got some more 15s that I need to get rid of. But my focus is 28 millimeters. So I've put a bunch of Macedonians on there, some orcs. I've put Celts and Germanic tribesmen. I've put a number of Napoleonic figures on there, and I'm basing them up for games that I play and that I hope are popular, and they apparently seem to be. So like my Napoleonic figures, I'm mounting them up for black powder and then selling them that way, like 24 figures in a unit, for black powder. And then Hail Caesar, I'm it's kind of a mixed bag there. I have some of the newer units that I'm painting up and putting up. I'm going to be mounting them up as units, maybe 16 figures in a unit, four figure bases or something like that, possibly. Or if they're a warband or a phalanx, I might put 32 figures or 24 figures. I'm not sure, but I'm putting a lot of those units on 4x4s, for 2 figures by 2 figures. That's what I meant. And but remember, about 2 months ago, I said that I was building up an Spqr faction force, right? Well, I've posted a lot of my Spqr miniatures, and I'm going to explain this in just a second why I did that. I'm not getting rid of Spqr, don't get me wrong. I'm just changing my philosophy on basing for Spqr. And that's part of this project. Part of this video is going to explain to you why and what's going on. But I posted some Spqr Romans and Macedonia, stuff like that. And those are based individually. So I sell those in like squads of either 10 or 12 figures at a time. Right. And those are doing very well. So if you're watching this video and you have some faction that you want to see represented in my store, let me know. You don't even have to pay me a dime. Just let me know. I'll go out and get those figures. I'll paint them up and I'll put them on the store. And if you want something specifically commissioned for yourself, like if you see Imperial Romans and you want an Imperial Roman army done or something like that, drop me a line either here on YouTube or at eBay, however you want to do it, and I will communicate to you the prices for that. When you go onto my eBay store, you can see that I am reasonably priced. You're looking at maybe here's an example, like a 10-man German squad, bolt action, $39, right? Okay, so you could barely ever buy a 10-man squad for 30. You might pay $24 for a box of 10 men, and then you got to paint them. This is painted, based, assembled, flocked, everything, sealed, and all you would do is pay like the $39 or whatever it is plus shipping. So you're looking at maybe $50 maybe for a 10-man squad. And that pretty much goes with all the factions. Now, if it's a metal figure, it might be a little different, or if it's a large unit, it might be a little different, or an anti-tank gun or a tank or something like that. So just check some of the prices. They're really reasonable. Okay. Okay, so I've kind of... Okay, do you remember when I played 148 Tactic? Right? I played 148 Tactic. I enjoy the rules. Okay, I think the rules are pretty cool, and they've got a unique flavor about them. And but here's the big but. It's not enough variety. It's too... Every figure is an individual, right? Every figure has its own stats. Okay. Which I kind of agree with, but I also kind of disagree with. I like the fact that a rifleman is a rifleman and not Joe is a rifleman and Bob is a rifleman that shoots further and Tim is a rifleman that shoots faster. And I I think that's pretty cool when you're only dealing with 5 or 6 figures on a table, which is what the game's designed for. And it's a small table and it's quick play. 30 minutes later, you're done. But that's not the kind of game that I like to play. I like to play games that have 30 or 40 figures on a table and I'm moving units and not individuals. And I'm not interrupting my opponent, with interrupts or opportunity fire, stuff like that, unless I've done. That's why I think bolt action is probably a better rules system than 148 Tactics. They both are well thought out, well scripted. The rules work. They're both great, but for me, 148 Tactic just doesn't do it for me. The figures look beautiful. Unfortunately, they're 148 scale. That means they're bigger, and that's cool, but I don't want to pay $10 a figure. And I can go buy plastic 148 scale models, but when compared to the 148 scale pewter that Boeda's putting out, they don't look the same. A metal figure is always bulkier and thicker and more of a game figure, where a plastic model is more of a diorama, true to scale figure, and it just doesn't mesh. Plus, I haven't received them yet, but I did back the Kickstarter where I'm going to get all the cards for like the first division. I can't believe that I spent like $100 on cards for a game that doesn't have the figures for those cards. I have to make the figures for myself through models or conversions or something like that. Tanks. Okay, thought about this. A tank, right? Like just a Sherman tank. Doesn't work in the rules. The rules have, they have rules for them. You can move them around. You can use them. They can roll dice. But when you're only on a 3-foot table or 4-foot table or 6-foot table, it doesn't matter, and you're only using like 6 to 10 figures per side, a tank is not, in my opinion, remember, all of this is my opinion, is not a fighting force. It's an objective. It's like you've got a squad of guys. They've got to go blow that tank up. Okay, that's an objective. That's not, I've got a tank and I'm going to wipe your squad out. It just doesn't, and it will too if you don't have any anti-tank weapons or whatever. They did a tournament. I watched a tournament. I think it was in England or whatever. 148 Tactics. This scared me. I understand 148 Tactic is new, or was new-ish, and it's run by a bunch of great guys, and there was a bunch of great people playing in it. But when you only have about 24 people entered into this tournament, which I believe, this is me just believing things, that was the entire population of the 148 Tactic community in England. All 24 of them showed up to that tournament. Okay, so now I look at the US, where I'm at, and I say, who's playing 148 Tactics? Nobody. Me and Mike, right? We're like the only guys. There might be a handful of other guys playing, and it really doesn't matter who's playing, because if I've got the figures and I got the rules and I've got a friend willing to play, we can sit down and play, right? So it doesn't matter. I play with Mike anyway. We play games. We can play some 148 Tactic. It's all fine. But the problem is, that's not the game I want to play. Plus, there's not enough variety. Okay, let me back that up. There's that's a double-edged sword. There's too much variety in the 5-man squad because everybody is different, but there's not enough variety as factions. You're either playing the 101st or the 26 Volksgrenadiers. That's it. And then they brought out the Fallschirmjägers, which I thought was pretty cool. So you're looking at three groups, each one with about 6 to 7 figures. So for 20 figures, I've got every model. Every one of them. That's kind of cool, but that's all I've got. What if I want to play Italians? Nothing. What if I want to play a Panzer Grenadier? Can't do it. What if you want to play a British guy? Can't do it. What if you want to play Russians? Can't do it. Now, they had a game out before this called 148 Combat, which I do believe had Russians in it. And I think 148 Tactic is their second attempt at this game. And that also scares me. Okay, so sorry, I went off on a tangent. But what I'm trying to say is I'm dumping my 148 Tactic. I don't need it. I don't want it. I mean, I'm going to probably hold on to the rules. I'm probably going to hold on to the figures, but I'm not going to really put any attention to it. I got my Fallschirmjägers over there just sitting there, and I've got my Race for the Oil or whatever it's called, and haven't even touched it. Also, don't forget, COVID has put a big hamper on what we can play and what we can't play. So that's a big deal. I mean, I can't get with guys and play. I did get with Mason, and we played about 3 or 4 games, and then I had a little after-action review with him. He has played bolt action with me. He's actually gone to NashCon with me as a judge, as a referee, and helped me adjudicate the Market Garden game that we had down there. He jumped around from different tables. I jumped around from different tables. Excellent help. He helped out a lot. So he knows how to play bolt action. He's pretty good at picking up rules and stuff, and kind of I trust his opinion. Let me just say that. So that when we played the 148 Tactics, I asked him, I said, hey, what do you think? What do you think would happen if I put a tank on the table? What do you think would happen if we played on a bigger table? What do you think if we add more figures? And what I found myself trying to ask him was, can we play bolt action using these rules? Can I put a couple of buildings on the table and a tank and an anti-tank gun and have 30 guys on one side attacking? That's bolt action. Why do I need 148 Tactic? And you know how hard it would be? Because in 148 Tactic, you have action points, and you pay them on your individual soldiers. You don't have enough to cover every soldier, so you have to pick and choose which soldier is going to get to do something on your turn, which I also don't like, because I think everyone should get a chance to do something every turn. Not necessarily as much like this guy might be able to shoot and move, where this guy can only shoot and this guy can only move, but at least everybody got to do something. Where in 148 Tactic, you have like 5 points. If you have 6 guys, then they're not all going to get to do something. So I don't know if I'm just the kind of guy that likes a you move, I move, you move, I move. I don't know. I don't necessarily like that either. But Bolt Action has an awesome random turn order, right? But everyone gets an action. It's not, well, he missed his whole turn. No, not unless he's stunned or something, but or he goes down. But that was his choice, right? So I think and plus the figures are not 148 scale, they're 28 millimeter, which I can find miniatures in 28 millimeter everywhere. So I think I like Bolt Action better. I asked Mason, what do you think about this game and this game and this game? And he goes, well, you know, I think I like Bolt Action better. And I was like, no, you got to be crazy. 140 Tactic, that's awesome. You know, because you can do this, 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 and this. But after sitting around, you know, thinking about it on my own, and a couple months later, I've come to the conclusion that he was right. He was right all along. 140 Tactic, I got into it. I got into it with 2 feet. I like the mechanics. The mechanic of the game is really cool. It's a different way to play. It's just not the way I like to play. And the figures are kind of pricey, actually, to be honest. $5 or $6 for one figure. You know what I mean? Even though that one figure is a hero, okay. All right, so 140 Tactic, gone, right? I'm going to get my Kickstarter in. Unfortunately, I paid for it. I'm going to get it in. I'm going to turn around and sell it. Or maybe I'm gonna check it out, see what it's all about, and if it's more of the same, then they even have a rule book out now called Achtung Panzer, which is supposed to like bring in anti-tank guns and heavy machine guns and bazookas and tanks and stuff like that. But I can see the writing on the wall. You know, it's just no. Okay, so enough of that. That's that. I've been painting. Let's get back to the Wargaming miniatures. Okay, let's get back to the Wargaming and Miniature channel update. I have, if you've noticed, I haven't done a lot of videos for miniatures, maybe none in the last month, mainly because I've been painting like a madman. I even have German. I got like 3 squads of Germans sitting right here that I need to get done. I don't have to get them done. I want to get them done so that I can put them on my channel, my store. Okay, so I've already done videos of me painting World War II Germans. So even though I'm painting these World War II Germans, I don't need to do another video for that. I haven't changed my painting technique or anything, so I don't know. I've got some ancient models, right? I got some Romans, which I'm going to show you here in just a second, why I'm getting rid of my SPQR based figures. I'll get back to that. Because I haven't really been able to paint a whole lot of those for myself because I'm painting like a madman, right? And when I get a chance to paint something for myself, or if I'm painting like a madman, I don't want to record it. And the main reason why I'm not recording is because that, just like this whole process right here, is a chore. It's not a chore. I love making videos, but it's a task. It's something that takes extra time. That's what I'm trying to say. So I have to set up the camera. I got to set up the recording. I got to make sure the sound is right. I got to make sure lighting is right. And then when I'm painting, I got to make sure the camera is on the figure that I'm painting. And it becomes a whole ordeal. That's in and of itself, that's fine. The problem is, it slows my painting down, right? It makes me, instead of painting a unit in a day, it'll take me 3 or 4 days to paint a unit because I have to record it and I have to wait for the paint to dry before I move on to the next step. And then I have to turn the camera back on and blah, blah, blah. right? And and the camera sometimes gets in my way because the camera is looking over my shoulder on a tripod or something, and it slows me down. I can't do it. So, now I've thought about this. I've thought about recording from a distance, like putting the camera up and just pointing down at the table, just turning it on and just going, and then go back in later and edit out the junk. That takes even longer. So I can't do that. Not because I can't just take the time and edit it. It's just that editing time, I could have been painting those Germans. So I can't. So I can't do that. So I have to take a specific day and decide if I'm going to film, or if I'm going to paint, or if I'm going to assemble terrain, or whatever I'm going to do, if I'm going to record that or not. Okay, so yeah, so that's why you haven't seen a whole lot of miniature videos. Okay, if I was to guess, in the month of July, I painted 4 Napoleonic units, 6 skeleton units, about 6 Imperial Roman units, about 10 World War II squads. I built like 4 tanks, 2 or 3 anti-tank guns, 2 or 3 mortars, 2 or 3 artillery pieces, World War II. And I know I'm looking up there right now, 3 British Napoleonic cannon artillery units. I touched up my Bretonian archers because I pulled them out of the box getting ready to sell them, and I looked at them and I was like, these guys aren't finished. Let me go ahead and finish them. Finished them. But that was like 30 figures. Yeah. So I've been painting like my ass off. I don't know how many units that was. I'll have to go back in later and watch this video and count it all up. But it's somewhere around at least 30 units that I've painted. All right, so now I'm getting Perry models in, I'm getting Victrix models in, and I'm getting Warlord models in, and I'm getting in a lot of them. I built a whole new shelf system over here. The bottom one is all bases, just nothing but bases. Can you believe it? I got a shelf for bases. Then I got my next shelf of things that are projects that aren't really started or completed. They're kind of in limbo. And then I've got non-miniatures for sale, like books, like the Gates of Antari's book or the Ogre Mock, right? Then I've got a couple of shelves of the actual figures that are painted, assembled, based, and ready to go. And then up the next shelf up are boxes of miniatures, and next shelf up is boxes of miniatures that I'm planning on putting together and selling, right? Over there, I've got my Victrix models that I plan to use for Spqr and Hail Caesar. Those are my personal ones. Okay. So yeah, I've got this whole thing. I've got another shelf up there of shipping boxes, right? And then bubble wrap. I got 2 tubs of bubble wrap and peanuts, and I got a lamp specifically to shine on models that when I take their pictures, they'll be well lit so that when I post them, I can show you the pictures. So yeah, I got a lamp for that. You can see over here, I don't know if you can see this, but I've got a new table over here. This is my computer table, and then the right side of my computer table is where I normally did painting. And I sat like at an angle in a corner and painted in this little corner. Well, I took some time to build this 3 foot by 1.5 foot approximately additional extension table. It's sturdy as hell, and I put my painting supplies and stuff like that, and I've ordered 2 more of these racks. This is 1, this is 2. I ordered 2 more. One's going to go there. I don't know where the third one's going to go. Yeah, so, and that holds these Vallejo models paints, but I've got a rack over here that has been, it's like a stair step rack. It has been holding my Vallejo models, Vallejo paints, but I'm going to be able to move those over here to these Army Painter Vallejo racks, and that's going to free up my large paint bottles. So I'll be able to put all my, well, maybe not all, but a choice selection of paints over there. So I'm going to have, this thing's all set up. I even ordered some brushes. Like right there is 50 paintbrushes. These are double O's, 50 of them. And then there's, I think 60 of these, 60 O brushes, right? So there's double O and O's. Instead of ordering 1 for this price, I saw these and I said, you know what? I'm going to order them. It's the same price as 1 brush, no big deal. I'm going to test them, see if they're any good. You know, but for this price, what the hell, right? $10, 50 paintbrushes. It's crazy, right? So I did that. This set right here, I ordered this set of brushes from Pro Art. This was a $7, $8 brush set. Lately, in the last couple of weeks, this has been my favorite brush set. These are like super tiny. I don't know if you can see this guy. That guy's like super tiny. I don't know. You can't see that. I can barely see that. Yeah. So if I need to like give a guy a pimple, I could do that. Got all my German paints set out aside right here, but you can barely see on the camera. I've got a new paintbrush washing station, right, with a paintbrush holder, you know, and I've got the cleaning solution in there, so I can clean it in there, and then I can leave it to soak in the cleaning solution if I wanted to do that. And then I could dry it off here. I could dry it off on the paper towel. This is brand new, has not been tested yet. That's gonna be soon. Okay, I also bought a bunch more of these paint pallets, and I didn't realize that the ones I have are like 3 or 4 millimeters bigger in diameter than the new ones. But the new ones I got like 20 of them in a pack for like $1 or whatever it was, and yeah, so it's whatever. Okay, so 2 more things. Okay, these are my Spqr Romans. I haven't put their shields on them yet, but these are the Spqr Romans, right? And they're mounted on 1-inch round washers, right? And this is a 2x3 Litco Aero base with a 2x3 Litco Aero magnet on the top. So now I can move them around the table and they're affixed to my base. So no problem, right? And then 2 of these, 12 figures, would have been a Roman, a Caesarian Roman unit, right? Like this, I can fight in line, or I could put them in column, right? Line or column. That's it. That's all they've got, right? Two ranks or a column. They don't have some other crazy formation, no squares or nothing like that. Okay. And this is how I would play Hail Caesar, like that. That's 6 inches long. Okay, but it's not going to be fair to compare them, but I'm going to anyway. These are Caesarian Romans. They're still Republican Romans, but this is like a stand in my formations. This would be a standard unit. 12 figures. That's not bad. I get a box of 24. I make 2 units, right? Okay. So I got some more figures in, right? From Victrix or what have you. I really have always liked the early Republican Romans, the ones with the Hastati and the Principe and the Velites and all that. They can go up against the Carthaginians or even early Macedonians or late Macedonians or the Gaelic tribes, Germanic tribes, Marian reforms. So I got some Victrix models, and here we go. These Victrix models are, okay, let me back up. I want to play Hail Caesar, but I also want to play Spqr. So I want to play both. And that's why I based them on the round bases, and then I got these magnetic bases so that I could put them in tight formations for Hail Caesar. I don't know why I did that. I mean, I know why I did it, but I've changed my mind. I have the right. I can do it. I can change my mind when I want to. I mounted them on 40 by 40s, like you're supposed to, right? A couple of reasons why. If I ever play with an opponent that has his own army, then I'm based properly. Another reason why, size of the table. Size of the table. Okay, so this thing being 3 inches, what is that, about 75 millimeters? Something like that. Pretty close to 75 millimeters. This is 40 millimeters, comparatively, for a movement base, right? Okay, but that's unfair because this is 3 figures wide and this is only 2 figures wide. I get it. So if this was 3 figures wide, it'd be 60 millimeters, right? Because it would be 1.5. You don't think it's a lot, but when you're playing Hail Caesar and you've got hundreds of models on the table, every inch counts. Just ask your girlfriend. So I decided to mount it 40 by 40, like a normal Hail Caesar unit. But I wanted to play Spqr. And I thought to myself, well, a 20 millimeter square base is not going to be too bad. It's not going to be that much of a big difference to a 25 millimeter round base, you know? So I mounted these individually on 20 millimeter squares, but I did exactly the same thing. I put the metallic, what do they call it? Flex steel on the bottom of these guys. And I have the magnets on the base here. So I can play with these guys as individuals, right? I can play with these guys as individuals, or I can put them on this base. And because it's 20 by 20 bases, they fit perfectly on a 40 by 40. And then when you push them in nice and tight, it looks like the whole base is flocked. You know, you have a whole base is textured and flocked because you don't really see the, or you can't, you get the idea. And so I've got two bases here. And in the Republican Romans, these are Principes. Two bases is a unit. That's a whole unit. Just like those two bases were a unit. These two bases of 4 figures, so 8 figures, is a unit. Crazy. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of, and I thought about this. I thought about taking all the guys that I've already got painted. They're already ready to go. Break them off of these bases. Mount them on the 20 millimeter bases, and go. And then I thought to myself, no, I'm going to sell all these on eBay because there's somebody out there that wants their Romans mounted on 1-inch round bases for Spqr or any other, maybe Clash of Spears or something, right? And they need some Caesarian Romans, or they need some Macedonians, or some British Celts, or Greek hoplites, or whatever. I'm going to sell all those. That anything that I mounted on the 1-inch round bases, I'm going to get rid of. And it's okay. It's okay. I love painting models. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some Caesarian Romans, repaint them, and put them on the 20 millimeter bases. Done. Okay. Okay, here's something you're seeing in my hand right here. Hail Caesar army lists. There was 2 books of army lists. There was book 1 and book 2. No, there was Antiquity, Biblical to Antiquity, or something like that. And then there was the medieval one, the one that went all the way up to the Dark Ages to the medieval time or whatever. And so you had everything from Egyptians, Assyrians, Hittites, all that stuff, all the way up to about Rome, right? You had the Macedonian. No, you didn't have Rome. Yeah, you had Rome. You had Rome. Macedonia, stuff like that. And then the next book had, just after Rome, you had the successors for Macedonia. You had some like Dacians and some all the way up to like Mongol hordes and the Frankish knights and stuff like that. That was great. All that was great. But now they have one book. This has both books in one. This is the shit. I would say get this. If you don't do anything else, get this book. Okay. The problem, I always like to go on both sides of the fence. I'm a fence sitter. This is a more expensive book, right? This is almost as much as the rule book. And if you know, hey, I'm only going to be playing Egyptians, I don't need frickin' the medieval book. I get it. Or you're playing like, I'm only playing like the medieval guys. I don't need that biblical book. I get that. But I think those are out of print. I think this is the way you have to go now. If not, that's fine. you know, I'm going to do my best to get my hands on some of those older books just to help you guys out. But I don't see why you wouldn't want to get everything in one book. This is biblical to early medieval. What they need is another book for late medieval, but I think they're going to use, I think Pike and Shot covers that, but I don't know. Maybe it does. Because I like some Agincourt stuff. You can play Agincourt with Hail Caesar, but it's not in any of the, you know, those armies aren't anywhere in here. War of the Roses, that kind of stuff. Now I've got some mods and some downloads and stuff like that that I've gotten from various sources that have the stats for like the 100 Years' War and stuff like that, but that seems very unofficial. This is official. Okay, so let me put this down. So I'm still working, I'm restarting my Hail Caesar projects, right? What I'm currently working on is my Rome, my not Imperial Rome, my Republican Roman. When I say Republican, they're not Caesarian, they're not Marians, they're Republican, the real deal, right? With Velites, Principes, Hastati, which is kind of weird. The way the rules explain it is for every Principe unit you buy, you have to buy a Hastati unit. Okay, so, which I've got right over there. But, so your unit isn't actually 8 figures. Your unit is 16 figures, like a normal unit, right? And if you buy 2 pairs, like a Principe Hastati and a Principe Hastati, at that point, you can pick up a Triarii as your 5th unit if you want, right? You have to have at least 4 of those, which you have the Principe Hastati in a division. You can throw skirmishers in if you want. And then if you throw a Triarii in there, in my opinion, that's like the perfect division. You got the Principe Hastati, Triarii, Division General. There you go. How many figures is that? That's not very many figures. If a unit is only 8 figures, what do you got? 5 times 8, 40 figures. Maybe some skirmishers. I'm going to knock them suckers out. Okay, so that's that. Now on my computer gaming, I know you've been here almost an hour, and I appreciate that. But on the computer gaming side of it, I'm playing a lot of IL-2 Sturmovik. I'm playing the Western Front, the Bodenplatte stuff, and the Normandy expansion is coming out real soon. I don't know exactly when, but it's already started to come out. Like I've already got one of the planes out of the Normandy expansion. That's coming out real soon, so I'm playing a lot of that. I'm digging it because I got my Track IR out of mothballs. Got my joystick over here, and I'm like flying around dogfighting. It's like I'm digging it. I'm liking it a lot more than War Thunder. War Thunder was too much of a. It's too. War Thunder's awesome, but I think the people that make War Thunder don't make it. They're not unbiased. They are biased towards specific planes, and they make those planes better than they should be, and tanks as well. So that's my opinion. Okay. XCOM Chimera Squad, haven't finished that, still playing that. And then I got into Phoenix Point. There's supposed to be another DLC coming out real soon, and I'm not going to activate that DLC. I might activate it, I don't know, but I'm going to try not to. I'm just going to play with what I got. But what I found myself doing is I play for a month or two, a new DLC comes out, and then I restart my campaign. So I'm like on the 5th campaign already, and I keep restarting it a couple of months in. So I'm going to try not to do that. I'm just going to play the one I have now and see how far I can get. I have a Bren carrier that I put together, assembled, and painted, recorded, but I need to go through and edit out the junk, like I mentioned earlier, and add voice to it. Like, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm doing that. That might or might not come out anytime soon. Don't know. I'm still going to be painting up stuff for my eBay channel, so check that out. It's Wargaming in Miniature on eBay. And if you have something you're specifically looking for, ask me, tell me, and we'll work something out. Let me see. 20, yeah, switch. Okay, Gates of Antares. I know that they're coming out with Gates of Antares 2 some point. So I've been kind of putting that off. I still have my Gates of Antares stuff, but it's just sitting over there. Terrain. Okay, I've got a few pieces of terrain, but I'm kind of holding off on putting those together until a time when I'm actually going to get to use it. NashCon was canceled this year. There's no NashCon, so that gives me it doesn't. I was going to go down to NashCon before this virus happened, and we were going to run some 148 tactic, but I'm kind of glad that I'm not doing that. Might have to play some Spqr or some Hail Caesar next year, or maybe some Black Powder. I got my American War of Independence stuff still ready to go, and I don't think I'm going to sell that. Yeah, that's basically it. That's all I can think of. If there's anything else, you got any questions for me, drop them in the comments. If you want me to address something, you got any questions about the hobby, let me know. I'll be glad to help you guys out. And as always, if you like these videos that I put out, like the video and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to be notified of when any of these videos are being released, make sure you hit the little bell icon, which is a notification icon, and let YouTube send you an email whenever I go live, and or text. Painting tutorials, maybe some in the future, like this whole army building of the Republican Romans. I probably could do a video on that. All right. Oh, I am definitely eventually going to do like a review on some of these paintbrushes that I got, just to kind of save you some money, because you don't have to pay $10 for a premium paintbrush if you could pay $10 and get 50 paintbrushes and they all do the same thing. And if it's no good, throw it away, use the second one. You know, and you got 50 of them. Turn them into dry brushes or something, right? Paint your toenails. All right, guys. Well, that's it, and I will catch you in the next month, okay? Every month or so, approximately. Oh, yeah. Star Citizen 3.10 should be coming out real soon as well. I'll be doing some videos for that. Catch you next time.